Hey guys, this is a video telling you guys why I've got a beef with the league. Try and keep it as quick as possible. It keeps getting up to about 9 minutes, so here we go. My first thing that kind of gave me a beef with the league was in my second season. I became a manager, and I was banned because my father passed away. I was told that there was no other alternative. I work for the number 5 retailer in the world, and they told me to take all the time in the need that I needed. Not to rush back, and that my job would be there when I got there. LG, which I volunteer for, told me, fuck you. And I took that as a slap in the face. My second thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was season 28 with, it's half of a second thing, kind of corresponds with something I'll talk about in a second. I had Reaper and Warrior breaking the rules, and I really wanted to adhere to the rules. I had Warrior cyberbullying and yelling at people and screaming and just generally treating people like shit. And the Constitution says that managers got to uphold a code of conduct. And I had Reaper wanting to forfeit the last 5 games of the season because he couldn't get his ass together and find people. So I went to Zeno and I gave them all of this. And I had Zeno say, it's been a hard season. We understand that he'd want to do that, so it's been rough. So that was upsetting that he couldn't even adhere to his own rules, and that was upsetting. And well, I had a whole bunch of proof. I had 4 guys where I said, hey, just submit it. Send it to a bog. And they did. And it was upsetting because in the season after I was banned for my father passing away, I was selected again to be GM of Oshawa, and I selected KTB Killa to be my AGM. And I treated players like shit. I yelled at them, I screamed at them, told them how to play, and he rounded up at, I think it was like 8 or 9 players, and they got me banned for my conduct. So I find it very odd that in that season, conduct unbecoming is a no-no. Season 28, however, conduct unbecoming is a yes, and you become a bog. Furthermore, I brought it up to Zeno, and he kept questioning me. Show me more. I think you're editing things. I think you're antagonizing him. And there was nothing I could do that would persuade him otherwise. He could have been in the same room with me on party chat, heard all of the yelling, and it wouldn't have been enough. It's stuff like that where the whole mentality that it's who you know around here is absolutely true. It speaks wonders. Then this season came along, and I got a player tampering warning. I was told that I had committed player tampering, and I questioned them last Saturday. So I sent them a message and I said, how is it player tampering? And I was told, you contacted an AHL owner of a player that was not on your team. We deemed that it was not tampering, but it was close. Player tampering in the rules says that you are not allowed to contact a player. Doesn't say anything about an owner. So I pushed that, and I basically said that. And at the end of the message, I was told by McDonald, who butted his fat nose in again, that I am not a bog. Therefore, I don't get to determine what is and isn't player. I don't get to determine what is or isn't player tampering. But I do, because you put the rules out there. That's like playing baseball and a player stop running after it's a foul ball, and the umpire saying, "Why aren't you running? You don't get to determine what a foul ball is." Well, yeah, I do, because the lines are there. They're set out. The lines are set here on what player tampering is. What do you mean I don't get to determine what it is? You set the rules. I'm following the rules. So, me and him then basically went back and forth, because I told him on what things should happen to improve the league, and he couldn't answer them because he knows I'm fucking right. He said some of my points are valid. I'll get on that in a second. But he told me that player tampering, 1.16 of Article 1. Now, 1.16 of Article 1 basically states that Zeno, for the benefit of the league, can change the rules at any time. That's what's wrong with this league. Is that there are 4 articles full of rules and regulations, standards. And at any time, at a moment's notice, depending on who you are, they can change. That's what's wrong with this. You can have rules and then all of a sudden move the goalposts. It's not fair. You can't do that. If you have rules, you have rules. Bottom line. So, my thought, my suggestion on how the league should change is so I live up here in Vancouver, and about 10 years ago we had an incident happen up here with police. And since then, there's an independent watchdog that looks over the police. So if anything happens with the police, they don't make the judgment on the police. They have someone come in, look at it, and either say yes or no. If you have the police looking at police conduct, they're always going to say, yep, he's okay, he didn't do anything wrong. If you have people looking over the same league that you're in, they're not going to judge unfavorably against you, because it doesn't rule favorably for them. So why would they do it? So I suggested that you got to be a minimum of 22 years old. You have to not be in the league, an active league member, and you can't have forfeited. So, and he said those are attainable, but it's not going to happen. Why isn't it going to happen? So you've got a hierarchy of people that are an age that's permissible, because I don't want to have a 17-year-old telling me what to do when he's got absolutely fuck all life experience, still living in his mom's basement. Mind you, we already have one of those assholes in Zeno doing that, so what the fuck does it matter with 17-year-olds? But it sets a precedence. You got someone with life experience, you got someone with age, and you've got someone that isn't got the biased point of view. And he told me it was unattainable. Until the league gets this under control, you're going to have the same thing all the time. You're going to have the same thing over and over, where people are going to come and be like, yep, favoritism. I created a post last week, I had about 30 some odd people in some way, shape, or form like that post that could somehow agree with what I was saying. That should show you right there. If there's not rampant favoritism, it would have gotten what? Maybe 2 or 3 likes? So until this league can actually adhere to the rules and take away Rule 1.6 of Article 1, which allows Zeno to change the rules whenever he fucking feels like it, whenever he gets off his fat ass. And until they can get 17-year-olds to stop being bogs around here and create a new hierarchy of watchdogs, it's always going to be the same. Always. You can't have 17-year-olds run things. And you can't have people who work in the same place dictate conduct, because they're always going to it's always going to benefit themselves. Anyway, that's it. That's all.